Ever since the formation of the People's Republic of China, or the PRC, in 1949, China has become a major player in the world's affairs. If you compare China with India or Pakistan using that time frame, it's easy to see just how much it's grown. Ever since the Great Leap Forward campaign back in the 20th century, the country has changed gears, altering the very structure of the economy from a majorly primary or agricultural setup to one that favors the secondary sector, that is, manufacturing. Now the second largest economy in the world by GDP, China is also nicknamed the factory of the world, which is an apt name when you consider that around 28% of the world's manufactured output comes from this one country. Between 2013 and 2021, China provided at least $331 billion in financing to an array of countries. African countries alone have received $91 billion. Kevin P. Gallagher, director of the GDP Center, says, "It helped China build ties with countries it didn't have many ties with. It is a good deal for China. They get a stake in the infrastructure they create and build rapport with the country they worked with." Brand new in this list of countries that are supported by China is Egypt. Egypt is in the process of building a new capital, literally called the new administrative capital. There are plenty of reasons that have been put forth for this action, from alleviating congestion in Cairo to enhancing the country's global image. Egypt's present capital, Cairo, is up there with cities that have the highest population densities in the world. With its population exceeding 20 million, the present infrastructure struggles to bear the load of such a high number, which leads to pollution, an overworked public service department, and a lot of traffic. The new capital will also precede economic development, as the construction and maintenance of such a huge project will create millions of jobs. Moreover, the project is specifically designed to raise heads in the foreign market and accumulate a pool of foreign direct investment. To accomplish this, the infrastructure will be of the highest class, with business districts and modern amenities sprinkled generously throughout the city. This city aims to be a smart city, utilizing cutting-edge technologies to provide services, control traffic, and consume energy more efficiently. The relocation of certain administrative headquarters to the capital is expected to improve administrative efficiency. The new capital is intended to symbolize Egypt's progress and modernization, showcasing the country's aspirations and capabilities on the global stage. It will also put emphasis on tourism to this end. With its advantageous location between Cairo and the Suez Canal Zone, the new capital can easily connect to and integrate economically with one of the most significant marine routes in the world. The setting up of this capital is driven by a combination of practical, economic, and strategic considerations. Enter China, the second largest economy in the world, bringing in its bucks to help Egypt on its quest for excellence, while also making a new ally in the process. China has already invested at least $3 billion in the new capital, with plans to introduce more. Chinese companies will come forth to build for the Egyptians, and a beautiful panorama of cooperation and modernity emerges. This is not the first time China has extended financial assistance to other countries. Often, China has been accused of setting up debt traps in a diplomatic manner. Usually, it provides large loans to developing countries for infrastructure projects. Many people argue that when these assisted countries fail to repay the debt, China gains leverage over them. A popular example involves the plight of Sri Lanka, which had to lease its Hambantota port to a Chinese company for 99 years after failing to repay loans. Moreover, all these investments into development and infrastructure in the context of other countries gives China noticeable influence over these countries. In some cases, the investments are just a facade to tap into the naturally available resources of other countries. These investments are often expected to sway recipient countries over into China's favor in international forums, especially to receive their vote in issues such as the South China Sea or human rights. Some countries appreciate Chinese assistance in that they make what would have originally been unaffordable attainable for them, and such initiatives can drive economic growth and development as well. But there are also long-term concerns to drawn out Chinese involvement. Sovereignty, debt sustainability, impact on the surroundings and labor practices, just to name a few. China has had significant investment in African infrastructure and has built several high-profile projects under the Belt and Road Initiative. Kenya's Standard Gauge Railway and the Ethiopia-Djibouti Railway were both funded by Chinese investment. But there are arguments that these investments have led to debt dependency in African nations. We mentioned Sri Lanka's port lease example. Add to that list the story of Zambia, ZESCO power business have arisen, after concerns as to whether Zambia would really be able to pay off its debt. The terms of Chinese loans have often been criticized for lack of transparency and potentially burdensome repayment conditions. It is natural to think that it's fine as long as nothing serious happens. But a country is not your average real estate investment. Within it lies the aspirations and hopes of its people, a canvas colored by a million different minds, each of whom rely on the fate of the country to see the light of the next day, staring opportunity right in the eye as they prepare to go through their days, wishing that it would be different. To even put an entity as big as a country in a situation where it can be exploited by others is a bad situation, and one into which a country, with all the people that depend on it, should never be pushed into. China is heavily involved in the development of the new Egyptian capital, particularly through the CSCEC, the China State Construction and Engineering Corporation. This cooperation includes the construction of the Central Business District, covering approximately 505,000 square meters and involving 20 towers, one of which will be the tallest building in Africa. This long-term involvement of China in the development of the new administrative city creates economic dependency. Financial assistance and management of these undertakings by Chinese companies could tie Egypt to China for maintenance, upgrades, and potential debt repayments. This kind of relationship can limit Egypt's economic sovereignty and decision-making. Moreover, China's investments often come with political expectations. These can manifest in altering Egypt's position on matters significant to China, influencing Egypt's vote in international discussions. China's grasp on influence is not limited to politics or money either. The establishment of the University of Canada within the NAC, for example, is a part of the broader strategy to introduce Chinese influence in education and culture. These subtle changes have the potential to express themselves much later, when future generations suddenly find themselves harboring pro-Chinese sentiments. Perhaps the partnership will turn out in Egypt's favor. But China isn't the world's second-largest economy for nothing. When it makes a deal, its intentions are concealed, and perhaps that's what makes Chinese involvement so daunting for a country. Along with the stake the Chinese possess in the new capital city of Egypt comes a certain degree of control, which can be leveraged for a lot of different purposes. Whether this amounts to swaggering depends on one's perspective, but it is clear that China's role as a global financer and builder has both positive and contentious aspects. So, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.